such, the turnout is really low. One of the key things that has led to that is with regards to the distribution of the PVC. Not much, quite a lot of
people have not received their PVCs.
have not received their PVC, and that have really affected the turnout.
So I think
secondly, also the issue of making a choice. Maybe you might see a greater turnout when it comes to gubernatorial election, but particularly with regards to the presidential election, people are still
don't care whoever
people are in
it's not that people don't care.
They are
People
confused.
don't know where to put their finger.
Yes, they don't have that full faith.
First of all,
on the candidates.
Some of them have been part of campaigning, for instance, up north against Atiku all the way. You know, now they cannot put up with promoting him today. If you've seen, if you see what some of them have said or have written about him, it beats one's thoughts how these people will overnight switch over to. There is still doubt about it because I haven't seen. There is something very common about both Atiku and Tinubu candidates for PDP and APC. They have become subject of a lot of bad press.
Yes,
both of them, about various things. And one will always ask why, since in Nigeria we have seen at least former governors being arrested. Why has none of them
been arrested?
Charged to court, prosecuted, and so on.
And even the EFCC have issued a statement out that they are not on their own. They are not after both of them. So
but then that's press for you.
Yes.
That is press for you. Sometimes even those of us who are in the industry cannot explain how one will just be always on the other side of the divide. You can't always explain. But in any case, they have suffered media, bad press. Then they are both believed to be excessively rich. And by nature, Nigerians have something against people who are very rich. There is always this belief that it must come from illegal means. Perhaps they haven't really convinced Nigerians yet to their satisfaction where these funds
now. Since this program is continuous, it is not only going to stop today. How about we come back to what happened, the recent incident in Maiduguri, the fire outbreak.
I think we should give an update with regards to
the
results.
All right, summarize the updates with regards to the results.
Okay, I cannot specifically do that alone. I think all of us will give what we have.
All right.
For instance, here in Borno, from the look of things and the result that we have collected, the APC is leading.
With four local governments.
Four local governments.
In the four local governments
that we are already collected. And followed by PDP.
Okay, is
there a surprise?
Is there any figure?
Yes, we have a figure here. Let me read it out.
But don't forget that the result in one of the local governments,
there is still an issue.
Yes.
That is. So I will just, from all the summary of the four results that we have collected here, the four local governments. What really surprises me here is that Labour Party, in all, I think it has less than 10 votes.
In all the four local governments, Labour Party has
less than 20
votes.
Less than 20 votes.
Well, that is, should I say, is this surprising or not?
Kind of, there is always projections, even before the election, that certain candidates will win certain states. But this election really turned out to be something else.
Yeah,
For instance, here in
unpredictable.
Borno, the predictions were that Borno APC will win,
Dominates.
will dominate. But from the look of things, PDP has really performed well, even though
Head to head.
yes, even no, we won't say head to head, but they have performed beyond the expected, beyond the expectation, because from the look of things, they have really performed. So also in Lagos. Lagos is believed to be a state where Tinubu will.
It is Tinubu's stronghold.
Yes, Tinubu's stronghold. It will really perform. But from the results we are receiving, Labour Party is really doing great there.
Well in Lagos.
Yes.
I've seen some videos also in University of Ibadan that results were being called yesterday, and people were chanting Labour Party, Labour Party. Though I haven't seen the complete result of that particular political polling unit, but people were chanting that it was Labour Party that's leading. So you see, Ibadan is believed to be also a Tinubu-dominated state.
Yes, and one other surprising result to me is that of Abuja. Even though my colleague here said earlier before this program that it's not surprising that
Labour Party.
the Labour Party is winning at the presidential villa and other places. But to me, it's surprising.
Well,
Let me draw your attention to one very important thing. Igbo are such a patronizing people. They go around the country to find Igbo families living in various parts of the country for many decades. Lagos, go to Lagos, a lot of the population there are Igbos. The business stamina of Lagos is largely controlled by Igbos. So it is not surprising whatsoever if Labour Party
performs well in Lagos.
And then there is something about people who join politics from the periphery, people who come from the edges. Most of the time, they get wide support in urban areas.
Yes.
Look at the population of internet users in these places, and look at how much campaign
has been going on the internet.
And don't also forget this fact that Peter Obi really had a whirlwind of support from a certain section of the Christian South, largely because of the Muslim ticket put forward by APC.
And
so he had, protest vote and so forth. And elsewhere he has received sympathy votes from some people because much more than Atiku Abubakar, they believe that Obi has more respect for them by respecting their own identities. Yes, he's a Christian, but he picked a Muslim without any headache. And since he comes from the trenches outside the, because Atiku is a big man, Tinubu is a big man, Peter Obi is believed to be,
an average.
He is not in the build of Atiku and
now we've been talking about Atiku, Peter Obi, and Tinubu. How about Konkoso? How is he holding up?
Yeah, see, when you are making analysis, you make analysis based on what is available. It is deceit when you want to make analysis just for political correctness. We make all the issues we are talking about here are issues that are out there. So do you want us to cook up issues that are non-existent? just
Anyway,
because
from
we-
the results that I also received, in Kano, Konkoso is really
Kano,
performing.
Jigawa, you know, and
These are places which, from projection, is believed
even
to
in
also.
Borno, even in Borno,
Konkoso
if
is
you
believed
if you
to
say if
perform.
you realize that this party is a year or so old or less even, he has performed excellently, and some of these candidates, these things are great wins for them, not now but in the future. At the end of the day, nobody can tell, but I can't be here to say that PDP and APC are not the projected winners based on what we have seen. That's the truth. If that's not biased, that's the truth. You know, so but ultimately their performance is good.
All right.
By 2031, when most of these so-called money bags
Political giants.
phase out of the political, who are the next people in line? You know, so ultimately these are the issues, and the turnout is in the election may be higher in subsequent elections, because by such time people have have already accepted the reality of a major shift in our political process. But one thing you also forgot is that ultimately people are realizing, people are becoming so, people are making, there is always this attempt by people to detach themselves from governance. And we are seeing this playing out. Most people have now, okay, let me just work hard, let me learn craft, especially with digital platforms providing funds for people and so on, with jobs becoming more difficult. People are beginning, and sometimes most people now see this presidency of the thing only
no
as a
effect.
matter of having political influence and so on. But people are outgrowing this extraordinary reliance on governors and presidents. This has killed many of our youths, many of our people who are otherwise potentially great, innovative, strong-willed people. So,
Okay, to me, I believe the arena is still tough because no one can precisely dictate the winner from the look of things. But yes, as you said, it's PDP
most
and
likely
yes,
between
PDP and APC from the results so far submitted to
based on
INEC.
the results so
but
far, yeah.
but there are places where it's been projected that maybe this candidate or that candidate will. And I mean,
Well,
I think
we'll
there is
keep
still
on watching, and
there is
then-
still going to be
the
more
analyses
confusion.
are going on.
Yes, it will be
it
going
is
on.
going.
Then maybe
So now let's just come back to what happened in Maiduguri, the incident, the fire outbreak at Monday Market. How do you people analyze the situation, and what do you think of it, and what may come of it? Now you were there at the fire incident.
yeah.
So tell us the situation report. What were people going through?
You know, it was, I think it is still an emotional moment for them. You know, this is the life savings of some people, their life investment, what they rely on. There is one particular case of a man that I saw there. When I saw him, an aged man, you know, he was just crying. He was crying, and together with his family, they came there and they couldn't even get access into the market because his shop is in the heart of the market. And what they just did was, him and his family, they were all standing outside and they were crying. And at the end of the day, he told his wife and his children that they should get back into the car. They drove back. That particular scene, you know,
Heartbreaking.
it's heartbreaking. You know, you see people crying there. You see people shock, full of shock. People are even unable to say anything. You just see people
Quiet.
from their faces, they are quiet.
Yeah, worried.
But even in the face of all this, from the analysis, this Monday market is one of the largest, if not the largest, in the whole of the Northeast.
Yes.
Many of the people of Maiduguri and Borno State rely solely on this market, on Monday market, to have their daily meals. So now this place is gone, and the market, I think, it is almost burned down. Almost 97% of it, because it is all in at the peripheral part of the market that people were able to take some of their goods out, but largely because the incident the outbreak started around 12:30 to 1, around that time, and there was no rescue to that with regards to even fire service operative or anything until in the morning.
Though I've heard people say that fire service was in motion since about 2.
Even though the problem is the commissioner of police was there around 2, but the problem was to gain access into the market was the problem. And this main problem, there is
the fire service. First of all, we have to understand that I have 2 experiences with the fire service. We have one of the most efficient, effective fire service. I had recorded 2 fire incidents, and in both cases, fire service turned up in less than 10 minutes of the incident. See, the case of not gaining access into the Monday market, you don't see the structure there.
The
see
design.
the building. See the design.
I will have to tell you something.
In the first place, you'd see the nature of the Monday market. Now tell me, you have been there. Where exactly was the main source of that incident?
It's around the bank.
First bank, according to many people. But there is one important feature of this Monday market. From its design, it is designed in such a way that it has some locations where provisions for fire, where the fire service will just have to.
See the point?
Will just have to.
The point we are making.
Will just have to connect their own pipe. But the problem is that
is it still working?
How
it is not in
when last
effect.
Was it serviced?
That is the problem. The problem is that the Monday market management were so loose at a point that they sold some of these points, which would have solved the whole issue. If to say those provisions are still there intact, the fire service. Let me learn, please. The fire service would have just connect their pipes, and this whole incident.
The blame is not on fire service. We are saying
I'm not blaming them.
We are saying the same thing. First, the incident occurred middle of the night. One, now you cannot the question you should see when calamities like fire incidents occur, especially in markets where places that are naturally crowded, and much more so in the middle of the night. You sometimes just just accept it as being fated. Look, because what can you do? Ultimately,
look at the way forward.
In our planning for future, we factor in all this loose ends. As you have said, we had provision for probably there may have been provision for a fire, fire extinguisher or fire service unit in the market standby. But as things stand in Nigeria, we have a major logistical infrastructural issue all the time with this. When we look at the market as it is, the market does, with the volume of trade that goes on in the market needs reorganization, needs order, needs sanity. It is jam-packed, it is crowded.
I think that have to do with the management. They have to understand. People have to be made to understand that there are access roads in the market. Most of these access roads have been occupied by mini shops temporary shops, and that will greatly affect the mobility of even the fire service.
That's what
now
they said.
I was there in the morning when there were a lot of people. My concern was most of these people were not even there to help. They were there to watch the incident. And in any case of an escalation, a lot of lives will be lost.
Well, what if one wants to be mischievous? One may ask whether you also try to help. But people will go there, and as long as in such situations that you cannot. The only sad thing is that people even took part in vandalizing.
And
A lot of them
and
were caught.
That's the problem.
A lot of them were caught.
Ultimately, let us not look at the how at this point. The how should be a case of
Aftermath.
let us put it in our future plan, because that will, even if we insist, and it will take us to how did it occur, and we do not have any fact
Information
yet.
about it.
But let us look at the effect on the people.
I think the Borno state government and other organizations need to bring in an army of
Support.
No, not support. Let us look at the psychological impact it will have on people. The PTSDs. A lot of people will traumatize after this.
Let us begin by talking about the material loss. There is one thing
The
about
economics.
the people of Borno. And let me tell you one thing. Even if the government did not do the shops, probably when you go after 2-3 days, people will be back to pack the bits and pieces of what they have and
rebuild.
We have experienced. There were times when the market don't open. This is not the first time we ran in Maiduguri without the Monday market operating full time.
Yes.
There are times it will operate for 2 hours or 3 hours a day, and most of the market men and women have deserted the market. You hardly get basic goods you want at the time, and so on. In essence, the material loss has a great impact on the wider economy of the state. It affects circulation of
And we are still
value.
even trying to recover.
We are still trying to recover, and we have to understand the nature of trade in this part of the world. We sometimes build community around trade, and so you find out that one person has 10 or 20 or 30 namesakes. Where are they coming from? Apprentices here trade. So they have become not only communities but families. And so once you reach certain point, you will be what? You will be given a part of the business to control. And so on. So now all of these things collapse like pack of cards. And that's one. Two, how about people who took goods on credit?
How do they identify the shops?
Yes, people go to Kano or other parts of the country.
Okay, I understand. To take goods on credit,
On
and then
credit,
after sale, they return
they
back
return back
money,
the
and then
bring
another credit.
The business runs on this a lot. How do you how now do you
cope with recovering?
Recovering what you've put in, paying your debt and so on, then customers go and buy food on credit, and a lot of items from their what we call in Nigerian parlance customers.
Okay. One of the things that I think should be critically looked at is what is the quantum of trade going on in this market. We need to understand that this particular market is not just supplying just Borno. It is situated in a critical location where it supplies goods to other countries,
Niger,
Chad, and Cameroon. So this particular incident will also affect trades in those locations. One. Two, even affecting their own economy. Two, is the issue of the amount of wealth that is lost there, it's in billions, because there are shops, a single shop with goods of worth 30, 40, 50 million,
yes.
which is completely burned out. So, for instance, now the governor has issued out an emergency relief fund of
1 billion naira.
1 billion to just cushion them for the few of them. So, if it were to be distributed
accordingly.
to them accordingly, and you know, this is what we are talking about. There are a lot of shops there. So this will really affect the economy. Now, a single individual, just him alone, as he has been explaining, he has quite a number of people who he takes care of. So with that particular shop, now the shop is gone, completely gone. Tomorrow in the morning, if he wakes up, he has nowhere to go.
I think if he wakes up, the first thing that will come to his mind is what he have experienced.
Where will I
Be
go?
having
People
nightmares.
haven't digested
Yes.
the problem yet.
Where will I go to tomorrow?
But trust market people, trust business people. As bad as the situation is, I have confidence in the resilience of our people. People need only a little push to get back. I think we together interviewed someone who lost close to 1,000 trucks, and who told us that if he would be
1,000
back,
trucks of cattle.
yes, if he would be back in his business, he said he made those fortunes when he was much younger. He is now more experienced. All he wants at that time was to return to his hometown and to and for peace to be restored. He is confident that he will, build back in a better way. So so trust people with resilience. We need that. I'm very pleased with the immediate release of
$1 billion
relief.
naira.
I just hope that there won't be problem with the circulation of cash and so on, and how it will be distributed, because it requires a logistics management, coordination, and so on. And in this part of as Nigerians, sometimes someone will even want to take advantage of. As you have seen, people were stealing while this calamity is still going on. So that distribution may give people some, not a starting point, but something to hold on to, no matter how little. 1 billion is 1,000 million. So as little as it is for such a market, it is still something really you know that you don't stand for nothing. So
at least even building back the shops, not even buying materials.
It doesn't have. Sometimes, and with that, the realities of hunger is what has kept men going. Go to Monday market in 3 days.
Inshallah.
You'll see some people back. Even if there will be security men to stop people from going to the market, people will still go. They will, if people don't go, Gamboru market, Muna and so cannot serve this state. So it is in the interest of the people. But what I don't really want is this kind of, things people like to say to, break people's, heart, to weaken their spirit, to dampen their spirit. Our people are resilient. We have gone this way even before. We will bounce back, and immediately. What government needs to do must be a continuous institutional support to effectively identify, profile, and support those who suffer losses according to the scale. And I'm sure the state government, federal government, and other
donor agencies.
other businessmen and so on will be able to mobilize support from perhaps building back the market won't be difficult, but business is not a shop. It's not the goods in the shop.
It is the person.
It is an entire science. So sometimes the problem is for people to put in the same discipline, the tenacity, the patience, the relationship, the contacts, and so on. This is the difficult part.
Well, thank you very much. I think it is getting late, and this discussion, if we are to continue it, we are going to maybe spend the night in the studio. So thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for having this discussion. It will be subsequent, inshallah. We'll keep on updating you with what is happening, inshallah. So have a good night.
And let us wish them recovery, those who
Have lost.
suffered loss.
We pray that they will bounce back in no time, and we pray that donor agencies and philanthropies, government, and also any well-meaning, and not just Nigerian, human individual will really come to the aid of these people, because these people have really lost a lot and are in pain.
I think the only way to see this pain is if you see it with your eyes.
That's it. That's it.
It's better left unexplained. So goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.